And we're live. Hello and welcome to Maddie Allen Live with special guest Dollar Cost Crypto and Charlie from Cultivate Crypto. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going, Maddie?
What's up, Maddie, man? I like the cowboy hat, brother. I like the DeLorean.
Thanks, man. Yeah, representing Texas now officially.
So you moved to greener pastures, I've heard.
That's right. That's right.
The future is looking bright.
Yes. So, man, there's so much news of the day. And I know you guys are always keeping up with everything because you run these paid courses that are super popular because they turn people into millionaires. So I'm excited to talk with you guys about all kinds of stuff tonight.
Yeah, likewise. And yeah, I mean, if you let me pull some shit up here because sometimes when people say like, a paid course, it's absolutely, unnecessary. I find all the information for free out there and all this stuff. Just listen to a couple of things, that we got here. So I'm reading, I could probably show this on screen if we needed to, but this guy in one of our chats, he had said last quarter, he says, I'm currently a teenager and in the last 2 weeks of my crypto portfolio has crossed over the 6-figure mark. Thanks to DCAing as much as possible. And the crypto mindset course. Thanks, guys. Like, I'm like, damn, bro. Like, congrats.
Dang.
Like, I couldn't pass fucking $5,000 in savings because I kept spending, you having to use it and stuff until like freaking like 28 years old or not even like, so bro, like getting 6 figures when you're a teenager is fucking insane. And then let's see here. We had another good one. I'll just go to the ones that are not too long. This guy in our chat, his name is Just Some Guy. So shout out to Just Some Guy. But he says, well, boys, I got to admit, I never really imagined this day was coming. With this current market pump, my portfolio has finally broken above the 6-figure mark. It was a long road in the depths of the bear market. I was down like 70%, but now I'm looking to the moon. Gotta love this community. This is a guy, and most of our guys are in the PulseChain ecosystem. So he's dollar cost averaged most likely into the PulseChain ecosystem, into various things. And his portfolio was down. Now he's up. He's probably making this week nice profits on Shadow and Sonic, and stuff's going really well because he's coin agnostic. And I know there are some people out there, and I know Maddie was generous enough last year to bestow upon me and Miguel a PulseChain conference badge after we spoke at the last PulseChain conference. And I know a lot of people in the community are like, if you have a badge, you can never talk about any other coin. Right? I'm just like really? Like we want everybody to make money, because if you make money in other ecosystems, what do you think is going to happen with that money? Do you think, okay, I'm going to make some gains on Sonic and I'm not going to take some of those over to PulseChain, especially once PulseChain starts going close to new all-time highs? Like, it's great to make money in other ecosystems so you can buy more PulseChain and PulseX, right? Like, I don't know.
We have guys who made like, tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars on this last play we did over there. And they're like scheming like, should I buy 1 billion PulseX right now? I'm serious. I'm not even joking around about that. That's absolutely serious.
Right.
Like, and, we've been longtime supporters. I mean, since the beginning of PulseChain and since the beginning of Hex, long-term supporters of both Hex and, Bitcoin Hex and and PulseChain. Supporters.
I may have had my moments with the topsy-turviness of it, but I will say, like, the time that I ever talked shit about Hex in 2020 when it first came out, that was in like the May-June period. And then I did go in, I think, August or September of 2020, get a tongue lashing from it was RG Kinetics. What was the Hexo? I forgot that guy's name. Yeah, Hexo. I triggered the fuck out of Hexo. That's for damn sure.
Was coffee there, right?
He never got on streams for that section or whatever, except for his own. And then he like got out of the slumber just for that one. What was the guy's name? That was like this FX guy in the movies or something.
FX. Oh, man, Johnny Chaos.
Johnny Chaos, yeah. The TV was lagging a little bit, so I couldn't hear you guys quite well. But yeah, Johnny Chaos, he was talking shit, and Johnny Chaos came like halfway back around, and that's saying something from a Hex Maxi, right? So, I had my trials and tribulations, but during that time, I was like, hey guys, tell me what it's about, and everybody did, and everybody was good about it. RG put it under the bridge and everything. So, but from that month forward, right, that was the same month that we put out our first crypto mindset course. We talked about Hex as an opportunity, and our guys made a ton on Hex last bull market, and I think we've been here since the jump for sure.
The Hex price at the time. This is when there was one Hex. I know this is ancient history, you guys. I only know P Hex and meme Hex, but on Pumped Out Tires. But back in the day, there was this old thing on Ethereum called Hex, and it was at 22% of a penny. And we know very quickly from that point on, it went to 3 cents, went back down to a penny, and catapulted into the 50-cent range. So, the guys who took the first courses in the course that happened in 21 cleaned up very well on Hex. So, yeah.
Well, I'm really proud of the fact that the Hex conference and the PulseChain conference, which I created, are different than the Bitcoin conference, because the Bitcoin conference, they control what the speakers say all year round. And from the beginning of the Hex badges, I made it very clear that you can talk about anything you want to talk about, as long as you aren't breaking the rules of Twitter and threatening everybody else's badge getting taken. And it's been an extremely successful program that's actually gotten an extra 700 million impressions on Twitter because of the badges themselves. And so this has been an incredible past year of amplifying the voices of people in our ecosystem. So that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I think sometimes you don't get enough credit for that. I think like Roger Ver has taken some shit in the markets before, right? But it's like you really are one of the better advocates for PulseChain and getting the word out there. I mean, I don't see anybody else who's going to all these different conferences where, I was surprised Ripple, when we went to the permissionless 3 back in Salt Lake, I was surprised that Ripple had quite a turnout there or whatever. But yeah, Maddie was the only PulseChain and Hexagon person out there. Like me and Miguel were there, of course, but Maddie was there on a freaking mission to tell everybody about it and make connections for the space and everything, which is really good. And I saw you doing that a bunch of other places. I think I even saw you take a picture behind Elon Musk at some point. I don't know, bro, you could get around.
I was actually about 3 feet away from him, and I was reaching out to hand him a PulseChain coin, like a coin that had a private key on it with some PulseChain on it. And he was holding his son and looking the other way. So, that was the second time this past year that I've been in the same room with Elon. That's the closest I've been. But, the third time will be the charm, I guess.
There you go. And then we get PulseChain on that rocket to the moon, baby.
Right.
Maddie, because you took me to the moon, I'm going to take you to Mars. Here's the ticket.
Let's go. Let's go. Well, yeah, there are a few points, news of the day that I'd love to hear your guys' commentary on, because I don't think it's, it might not be relevant a month from now, but we just found out today that Elon Musk is proposing doing a $5,000 cash back, but it would only apply to people who were a net payer of taxes. So, what do you guys?
Right here. I already got mine. I already got my 5,000. I'm already this right now. But what
do you guys think about this?
That's how much money it is right there. If you've been paying taxes. Last time people got $1,200. People made a lot of money if they had. I think at one point what did it reach, like 400? That $1,200 was $400,000 at one point if they had bought Hex with it. Imagine with 5,000 what you can do. Maybe you buy some pumped out tire coins. Maybe you go into Ink Token. Maybe it's P Hex. Maybe you're at E Hex, or maybe it all goes into a Cardano on PulseChain, the real PulseChain. The real Cardano. Who knows? Many things can happen, but I think that is really going to I think it's really going to pump up a lot of the markets, because it's going to put cash into much needed people. There's a lot of people here. I mean, there's a lot of people in the United States that are are mostly the ones paying for all the benefits that everyone else gets, right? There's it's mostly good, and if you actually look at it, it's mostly going to be men that are going to get the checks because men are the actual contributors to taxes, not women. Sorry, but it's the truth. And shout out to all my Jeets out here, man. I know you're buying meme coin in the trenches, but a lot of that money's going to go to pump dot tires, which is going to make PulseChain more deflationary, and it's going to increase the volume on PulseX, which is going to make PulseX more deflationary. All around awesome time, you guys.
Well, the meme last cycle, right, was, well, if you would have used your $1,200 to buy Hex, now it'd be worth, this much, and then this much as the price would go up, right? So I'd like to see something similar, with PulseChain or some Richard Hart ticker, maybe PulseX or whatever, right? Or PTGC. Let's go with something that's actually well built in the ecosystem that's, outside of what Richard Hart has done, which is extremely freaking rare because we got illiquid loans out here still hanging around for some reason on Twitter.
That's a good meme coin, bro. I heard that's going to be a good meme coin.
Hey, what was his name? B-Roots put that out there, and I'm like, I'm all for it. So I think that one actually would do. I would buy that one just as much as the real Cardano on PulseChain.
Right.
Right. Yeah, you got to make a statement here about like what's what, and yeah, I think like probably the reason Elon and Trump are considering this all of a sudden, this $5,000 for taxpayers. I saw some commentary that like they were at risk of crashing the economy because even though the $2 trillion that was being spent on fraud, even though that was like, not doing anything productive, it was still being like spent by the people stealing it from our country, to like employ people and to prop up the economy. And they weren't really sure how much of it was like funneling out of the US, which like doesn't affect our economy as much as like how much of it was being kept at home. So when you see the percent of like, this represents 20% of the 2 trillion that they're saving would be funneled back to taxpayers. I think that maybe is trying to help the market digest the recession that they could put us into by cutting the fraud out.
I mean,
and then
because we were saying this earlier on Charlie's show that so around the time that they started increasing the interest rates back in 2022. By the middle of 2022, Jerome Powell was kind of complaining that, like, damn it, American savings rates is at 20%. So historically, the American savings rate is 1% to 2%, which is terrible. That's not counting the 1%. Right. That's an aggregate. All right. I mean, that's everybody. But in reality, the 1%, you have more, you don't have a savings problem, you guys. You have an income problem. That's the truth. Like, there's only so much. You can't save yourself to $1 million if you're only making 50 grand a year. You know what I mean? But like, the more money you make, the more easier it is to save, right? Like if you see someone that's a multimillionaire YouTuber that's, I save 95% of my income. Yeah, because you make millions of dollars, dude. You can, I mean, it's not $3 million a year. You can live on $150,000 and still have the rest of it to save, right? It's not that difficult. Trust. But sorry, I've got a big pet peeve with like financial YouTubers when they're like, why aren't you saving all your money? Dave Ramsey, right? Well, like, bro, you're making millions. It's like, if I make $1 billion a year, I can live off of 1% of $1 billion. I think I'll be all right.
Right.
Like, why aren't you saving 99% of your income? Like, I'm living off. 1%.
Man,
I'm living off 1%, brother.
Ramen only. That's because like, bro, like, what do you call it? Like, those memes where like you put everything in crypto. It's like, man, like, I don't know. We've still been doing that this bull market, but it's like, you still gotta have some stake every once in a while, right?
Right.
I think the other like reason that they're doing this is to actually incentivize people to pay their taxes in 2025, because when you tell people, oh yeah, all of the money that the government's been spending was just going back to the corrupt politicians, nobody wants to pay their taxes anymore, and then you kind of have a bigger problem. And so I think that's like the second reason why they're basically trying to, it's more than just even getting people to pay their taxes. It's like people wanting to be productive. And so the reward of $5,000 to people only who paid their taxes will incentivize the next group to be productive, possibly.
Yeah. They're also bribing, all of America to be like, the Department of Government Efficiency is all of a sudden fantastic. You know,
Right.
like, please, let's do more of this. You know, it's like,
Right.
it's the, see, this is the thing that I think crypto projects either get really right or really wrong, which is incentives, right? You have the right incentives, and you don't need to manage people's actions, right? Because the reaction is somewhat predictable, right? And so, yeah, you throw $5,000 at every American who, you know, has been paying taxes or whatever. Yeah, I think they're going to be fine with the Department of Government Efficiency, and all the people who are crying about it. You know, the people who don't pay their taxes, you know, they'll probably cry harder, but then you'll know which ones are which, right? It's like, it's kind of like when they start cutting down, you know, different corrupt departments, right? The people who are screaming the hardest, those are the ones who are the criminals.
Yeah, because it looks like they're going up the IRS first, and then the SEC is next afterwards, and then I think they're going to go to the Department of Defense, because that's really what the big savings is going to be from the Department of Defense.
Yeah.
And they're sure they can cut the SEC down, and they've already fired a ton of like IRS agents, and they're going to clean up the IRS agency a bit. But it's really going to, and the Department of Education is one that's a huge savings right there. But like, you know, Department of Defense is going to be a huge one, and then that's why they're like right now they're tackling in multi fronts. But I mean, just all the possible corruption on just Social Security payments of people who are 200 years old to one man that's been alive for 360 years. You know,
Seriously.
That like we don't know yet, but like it may have just been like they just been dead, but like they're just still in the system, but they're not been getting payments. Okay, that's good. But I wouldn't be shocked that let's say that 8 million that's fraud, possibly that 1 million of those people or the payments are still going out, and it'd be very, very likely that 1 million just being used as a slush fund to pay for shadow projects and stuff. And that's why like certain parts of the government are freaking out, because they're going to have to fund their evilness from their own pocket instead of taxpayers' money, which is going to hurt, you know, which, you know,
they can't do.
they can't really do, you know, because they're like,
Well, speaking of the the crackdown on the SEC a little bit there from Doge, I think recently didn't the SEC say like, hey, we're opening up the ability for you guys to like kind of report what you have seen maybe the SEC's overreach being. I think I saw somebody tweet that out earlier today. I can't remember who it was.
Yes,
but
I did one like that.
Yeah, if you might have done that, that might have been the one that I saw. And so like, I don't know if you want to share the tweet with people here, but I think, you know, it would be very, I mean, the Hexagon community and the PulseChain community, we know knows how to, you know, get stuff done. So if we got people jumping on the SEC on that, I think that would be nice.
Yeah. So I found that the third most popular public report to the Doge_SEC account was about the corrupt SEC. And what I've done is I had a tweet the day before yesterday that got like 600 or 700 likes, where I've associated the actual name of the corrupt SEC agent with this.
I like it.
For your convenience. Matthew J. Goldie is the one who's wasted your taxpayer money debanking Matty Allin and suing Code Hex. And it's really that simple. And that's all we need for you to do, is to go to this tweet and send a DM to Doge_SEC. And I'm just so proud of our community. This is like, technically it's the number 5 tweet from Hexologists, but really, if you cut out the top 2, which are just Elon bashing, that have nothing to do with the SEC, we were the 3rd loudest already publicly. But they haven't asked you to be loud publicly. They've asked you to DM them. And so I'll just drop my tweet here into the live chat, and anybody who's watching, the 388 people, can go and send a DM and just say that the SEC has wasted money on suing Code Hex and debanking a witness, Matty Allin, and those are both fraudulent and corrupt.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's something that, you know, just needs to be done, because the community here, I don't know, there's been a few people that have just been gone after from, you know, like the SEC here and other organizations, you know, way too much overreach. And there's just been, you know, like yourself, Maddie, and a few others in the ecosystem that just got like wrongly targeted and stuff like that. So yeah, the whole community, I think, should be aware of that so they can support you and others in the community, because yeah, I think there's some people that they get the wrong impression. They don't really know in the background like how much, you know, you're really pushing for everybody.
You know, you're doing the right thing when they're coming after you, Maddie, because
Right.
I actually got a little story about this, because even guys we stream with as well, Fresh and Fit and Rolo Tomasi, which are part of the Red Pill, this is something that was reported on, maybe Rolo reported on it maybe 3 and 4 months ago, but the evidence came out when USAID money was used. I think it was about $68 million was used to go after Red Pill influencers and shadow ban them. And and this is real, by the way, and they use that money to go after Fresh and Fit and to go after Rolo Tomasi, Pearly Things, and a couple other channels, and send their volume. When you search up their names, it would try to send their users over to liberal YouTubers.
Wow.
And that's a real thing. Actual shadow banning and actual redirecting of traffic over to like losers and nobody watches.
Right. Yeah. That's just, that's pure corruption, and it's lying to people, and it's causing people to not trust institutions, which is just terrible.
I mean, they don't. I mean, most people don't anymore. I mean, like, one of the worst things in the world. Hey, I'm from the government. Okay, not good.
Fix things.
Come to fix it, bro. Like, let me show you how broken it is. I live in the wonderful state of Nevada. I live in Las Vegas, and they've had the same $1,200 basically jackpot bonus. So if you hit $1,200 on a slot machine, you have to pay taxes, right? That was instituted in the mid 70s. And it's still $1,200. But that was supposed to be, that was like a massive jackpot. That was like hitting like $8,000, $10,000 in today's money. And the reason they don't raise it is because they're making a fortune. Not really the state of Nevada. The federal government's making a fortune taxing gambling profits. When no, that's an abuse, and that needs to be. It at the very least needs to be $5,800 to $10,000, because it's absolutely ridiculous. Because they're just doing that. It's a way for them to choke out and you not to have physical cash. And then there's a war. There's a war on physical cash, and there's a war on decentralized digital cryptos. And I'm glad that today, Trump announced that the Biden's war on crypto is over.
Right.
Which is, if you're, oh my God, the bear market, the bear market's here, the bull run's over. Unfollow them, please. If their TA is saying, you guys, I think we're heading into a 3-month, maybe a 2-year, bear market, unfollow.
Well, that was the next topic I wanted to talk about. Okay. Because I'm hearing different things. So I'll present all the data points that I'm looking at, saying that the top is in, and you guys can reassure us that, that's nonsense, or you can tell it like it is, which you would do. So Kareem is looking at a Bitcoin, saying it's showing the same Wyckoff pattern. He showed it on the show last night, and compared it to 2021. I did a tweet earlier today. Do I still have it here? I want to bring this up because it's got really specific numbers in it. So you guys remember the GBTC discount?
Yes.
Where you could get Bitcoin for half off. And you guys know that could be converted into real Bitcoin in January 2024 when they converted GBTC. And that's why we got stuck at 46K for a little bit, is because everybody was converting their $8,000 Bitcoin that they bought for 46K. So they got a 5.7x there. And then the thing that I actually really did forget about is that we had actually a MicroStrategy premium on Bitcoin. And so that peaked in November. It peaked at 330% premium on Bitcoin, putting Bitcoin at 316K, even though it was only at 96K at the time. And so you know, what my question is like, you know, what are the probabilities that the top is in? For me, I'm sitting at like 30 to 50%, that we were left translated, that we already got a 316K Bitcoin, blah, 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 because, you know, MicroStrategy, they're not getting it up like they used to. And yeah, so what are your guys' thoughts?
So it's not impossible, right, that things could go south. It's just a matter of what's the likelihood or probability of it happening. And right now in February for Bitcoin specifically, I'm just going to pull up the chart on my own side here, but so far we're at 97,000 right now, which is a very nice number for Bitcoin. Above 98's really, really good. Getting it back of 100, of course, is the thing that it needs to do here. But yeah, just looking at price action, we should have, if we're going to break down, we should have been breaking down already. Like from February 6th until now, we've been around the same price of $95,000 to $97,000. And so, yeah, we should have been breaking down already. And the fact that we haven't is kind of bullish just based on 60-day cycles. We had this scenario only one other time in Bitcoin's history with the 60-day cycles where I'd have to show the chart to make it a little bit more clear. But basically, there's these 60-day cycles where you have a left translated cycle with the high before day 30 and a right translated, which is more bullish, with the high after day 30. So either bullish or bearish, depending on where you get the peak. And we got the peak on day 7 here in the current 60-day cycle. And right now we're on day 37 of this, or 38 of the 60-day cycle. So we're coming up to the next 10 days since we have a high in the first half of the cycle, although it is a new all-time high by just a few bucks. The weakness that we have over the next 10 to 15 days is the danger zone, I guess you could say, for the market. Now, if Bitcoin doesn't break back below 95, or definitely if it doesn't break back below 90 by the end of this month, then it's very, very likely that we have that same scenario at the 2020 that I was mentioning. So what that scenario was after the Corona crash, we came back up in price. We had, I think, a day 20 cycle high, which is before day 30, which should be bearish. We broke down, but the price just went sideways for like maybe about a full month. And it should have been breaking down, but because it was kind of floating in defined cycles, that was a sign that sellers have been exhausted, and price basically just started the crazy bull run from there. That was just before the DeFi summer, the first DeFi summer ever in 2020, right? So if basically what I'm saying here is if over the next 14, 15 days, 20 days max, Bitcoin continues to hold above $90,000, $95,000, then we're pretty much at the clear from there, and everything starts pumping pretty good from April.
So would that indicate like a right or like a far right translated cycle if like it's being compared to something that happened before DeFi summer in 2020?
Yeah, so every 4-year cycle has been a nice right translated cycle for Bitcoin. So if we're looking at what do you call it, low to peak, last time we had the low, what I'm trying to remember exactly of Bitcoin, the low was where was that? It was 2018, right? End of 2018, and then we had the peak in November of 21, so about a 3-year area, right? So yeah, like it's in the, what do you call it, very, very late part of the cycle where we get the peak. So we got that same peak in every single cycle. If you go peak to peak from one bull market to another, it's usually 3 years and 11 months instead of the full 4 years. And the one thing people don't understand about long-term cycles, the 4-year cycle, is that the peak doesn't have to happen in the same place every time, even though it has happened in the same place the last few times. It can shift a bit. So we've already had, technically we're already in a right translated 4-year cycle because we had the high past the 2-year mark, which came through in November and December with new all-time highs. So we're already in a spot where even if we were to break down, maybe in terms of time, how long it would be, that could be a little, that would not be fun. But just in terms of how far down we would go, wouldn't be as like cataclysmic as I think a lot of people are trying to make it out to be. So it's not like a 0% possibility. It's just the next 2 weeks will really, I think, determine kind of where we're going from here. And then, of course, like what do we got going on? We got the $5,000 Doge check as a consideration. We have a Bitcoin strategic reserve as a consideration. We have an entire positive SEC towards us, an entire positive CFTC towards us. We have a crypto task force in the SEC headed by Hester Pierce. David Sachs is running some groups. I don't know. Seems to me we're pretty bullish. Any of the data indicators like a bicycle top and stuff like that have not hit, not even close yet. So we haven't over speculated. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that has happened, I showed this chart from Bitcoin Munger, which is kind of a funny Twitter account, earlier today on my stream, which is the main reason why we're holding down in price around 100K since we came up to it is because long-term Bitcoin holders have been exiting. So the maxis have been exiting on us at 100K because they're a little quick on the trigger. And now that is starting to dwindle. And once that flips green and they start basically mainly holding again, then that's going to be no sell pressure. All sellers are gone. So I think we're getting pretty close, but the next 2 weeks will really tell us, will really determine that.
Miguel, what's going on with the Fed?
Basically, they're kind of, they don't want to cut because they want they basically want more bloodshed in America and the economy. But I mean, it's the truth. That's why earlier I brought up that whole thing about like America's, because they have to cut it. Like the number one mandate at the Fed is stable prices and employment, which is a lie. No, it's no. The real number one mandate of the Fed is to keep their ability to print dollars forever. That's the real thing. If they'd rather crush the entire economy if that means protecting their ability to print dollars. That's really they'll say fuck prices, fuck jobs, tank the main economy, and send us into depression as long as they have the ability to print. And that's the truth. That's the absolute truth, because they're just like an animal. They're like it's not like I'm gonna put the mask on. No, they're gonna protect themselves and then do their job afterwards. But but the thing is a lot of things are coming up the front. Like the United States can't sustain this 5% interest. I know we're at 4%, but like still, but the real rates are like at 5% and higher. They can't sustain. They can't like rebalance. They can't basically remortgage or basically roll over their debt into new 2-year, 3-year, 5-year treasuries. All these trillions of dollars at 5%, 4% bond yield, paying that kind of yield out. They can't do it. So they have to start going down on the rates. Maybe they could sustain 2%, maybe 3%, but the Fed's being stubborn because they essentially what's really the thing that's really like bugging them out, and they said it for a long time. It's really just like real estate hasn't crashed enough, and they're pissed off about it. And real estate services haven't crashed enough, which are mad about. They're letting the balance sheet roll off, which is basically a QT, which is quantitative tightening, and they've slowly been delevering out the overnight repo market. But realistically, as soon as that hits zero, they're going to start printing because our balance, we're not printing money, we're the balance sheet's like this. But they're one way that we actually did have QE. They
right
during the whole Silicon Valley Bank situation, that they try to blame on crypto, which was not a crypto problem. No, it was interest. It was these banks buying bonds at basically paying nothing. Like, how do I say it? So the interest rates and the price of the bonds are actually inverted. So when interest rates are going up, the price, because the bond is stuck at paying what it pays, interest rates go up. This nukes down in order to compensate to make it actually worth buying, because it doesn't make sense, basically, right? So if you're net buying mortgage-backed securities when interest rate in 2021 was 25 basis points, by the end of 2023, they had increased the cost to borrow by 20 to 21x in a year and a half. Yeah. Massive move, a 21x. We went from 0.25 to 5.25.
Fastest
5%.
in history.
Fastest. Well, no, second fastest. They had increased
Okay.
in the 70s. Paul Volcker increased it to
Oh, that's right.
17%. But that's because we weren't we didn't have the dollar, the petro system yet, and we were still kind of tied to the dollar. I mean, to the gold and the fucking what is those fucking cunts from Europe? The French. The French basically try to run. Basically, they went to send their battleships to the United States and give us our gold, and basically we're trying to make a run on the bank on the United States and stuff, and then we fucked over the French once again. Yeah, don't trust the French at all. Like the French, do not trust the French. Like,
hey, they did give us a Statue of Liberty. You got to give them that.
I mean, she's kind of butch, but sure, I guess. I mean,
hey,
I don't
beacon of
know.
hope, baby. Beacon of hope.
Yeah, don't trust French, bro. I mean, French. I like. I have love for French people, but not so much for the government. But France is the Illuminati of the Eurozone. Why do they like they're really the only power over there that has nuclear power. Everyone else is running on coal and natural gas, subservient to everything. They basically trick Germany into getting to debt, and they've essentially, like, Germany makes the most money, but they're actually the entire Eurozone is indebted to Germany except France, and then France still to this day owns almost all the banking in fucking Africa, and they still own all their African territories, so they're still slaveholders over there. I can keep going on the French, but yeah, fuck the French.
Right.
Yeah.
They have really high tariffs too. I tried to send something there, and they wanted like 7.
Yeah, they're terrible, and then also too, they're that's where Ledger. That's why I don't recommend Ledger. We only recommend Trezor for cold storage. It's because they're super commies, they're super totalitarian, and they're super leftist, and they were forcing KYC and know your customer. The moment they moved over there to France, magically the entire email server got leaked, and then people's entire emails got leaked out, and then are still to this day getting spam and getting like scam emails and stuff that people have lost tens. I can't imagine the amount of money that's been like, oh, an email, well, from Ledger, doink, nope, jacked. Your whole computer gets taken over and you get your money stolen. Doy. And then two, like, I like Ledger, but they try to get too fancy and like, you can trade within Ledger Live and the Ledger Suite. And no, what your hardware wallet's supposed to be, it's supposed to be a dumb storage. It's supposed to be a dumb vault, a dummy vault, literally doing nothing. It just holds the coins safely, encrypted keys. It's encryption on encryption. And it's an extra safety feature just in case someone tries to get your computer, they don't have access to that. And that's why we like Trezor. It's more decentralized. Is it perfect? No. They're slower to adopt coins, yes, but it's kind of the price we have to pay for safety. Like, I'm not buying a Trezor to be the most advanced sort of thing on the planet. I'm buying it to make my wallet safer and make me in an extra layer of protection, right? Versus like, oh, I can trade in here and Ledger Live and make all these fees and do all this stuff. When the more options you add, the more attack vectors you have for something bad to happen to you.
I've sold about 600 of these devices, these Trezors, and about half of that has been the new Trezor Safe 3 because it has a special chip on it that you can't tamper with, otherwise it self-destructs, and it's got a couple other cool features too. So.
Literally T100 explosives. I mean, literally, look at this. But
so do you think Jay Powell's gonna like take us on a ride and like?
Well, he'd be forced to. The Trump administration's already pretty much said that they're going to kick, if he doesn't comply, they're going to kick him out. Worst case scenario, they'll kick him out kicking and screaming by next May.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so next May, worst case, he's out. But more than likely, he's going to kowtow. He's going to have to cut rates. And more than likely, like, I believe the first rate cut's probably going to be in May. There is a March meeting that's going to, let me see, March 7th, I think, if I remember correctly. No, March 19th. March 19th and May 7th are the next ones. More than likely, we're going to cut in May. But if it happens in March, that'd be great because it doesn't have to be a large cut. It's just some cut. It could be 25 basis points, which is bullshit. It really should be 50 or 1%, right? But what they're really mad about is like they really want the commercial real estate market to blow up because that's really the weakest part of the market, as well as they want some of these larger corporations to get in trouble where they have to sell single family homes. So there's a good part of it they're trying to do, but mostly it's because they're trying to cause ruckus and slow down that industry because there's still tons of there's more real estate. Like there's like, so basically there's There's as many realtors. There's more realtors than there is properties for sale in America right now currently.
What?
Yes, look it up.
Wow.
Yeah, there's more people trying
Wow.
to sell you a house than there is houses in supply.
Wow.
And yeah, it's like, I mean, hey, crypto mindset, baby, you'll learn.
Yeah.
But interesting with all the Doge stuff that's happening right now. Magically, 4,000 properties went for sale in DC, and the reason, like one of the reasons why as well, some guy asked some really like crazy question in here about like why hasn't the SEC thrown out the case? I think people at the SEC and at the IRS and in the Department of Defense and the FBI are currently not doing their jobs and currently covering their ass to make sure that they don't get got. I think there's people that work for people that are doing illegal shit. There's people that are doing it for themselves, that have been extracting money out of the government. And there's people that basically did spiteful things with their positions of power and are now covering their ass. So I really believe at least 1/3 of these government agencies are covering their fucking ass right now because they know the microscope is coming. And they're on the chopping block. So the reason nothing's getting done at the SEC, that's why. And also that's why there's no more punitive stuff coming out at all on crypto. You have the president being pro-crypto. The Joe Biden era of anti-crypto is over. We're about to have a Bitcoin. We're about to have a Bitcoin strategic reserve and a crypto strategic reserve, which I know sends these Bitcoiners into like some kind of aneurysm and stuff, some sort of like seizure. But it's the truth. Crypto is bigger than Bitcoin. But we cannot do without Bitcoin. But like legitimately, like crypto is bigger than Bitcoin. It is, and it will be. Like it mark my words. Like over a long period of time, the overall crypto market cap is going to be bigger than Bitcoin's market cap. Just
wow.
Yeah, it is. Of course it is. Of course it is. Because we're going to absorb. Crypto is going to absorb like RWA, right? Real world assets. Everything will be in crypto. At some point, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, it's all going to get digitized. We're going to buy fractional real estate at some point. Like everything you could possibly imagine is going to be digitized. You're going to be able to AI, everything is going to be digitized and going to be put into with a crypto wrapper, one for one, or some are going to be Ponzi. I mean, we're never going to escape the Ponzi and the meme coins, but that's what's going to happen.
But what about the Cybertronic Hornet's Nest?
I'm sorry, you lost me on that. What?
Michael Saylor, like Bitcoin, there's no second best. And
look, I hope, like, I don't see how he's going to do it now. I really do like listening to Michael Saylor. Like I meme him all the time. But I have a giant meme is like, crypto is the greatest thing on the planet. I mean, Bitcoin's a great, like I show memes, and so does Charlie, of like how ridiculous they sound. But it's funny to us because Bitcoin's really like, I mean, it's our gold. It's our gold, and then we're gonna live old. Like I'm older than Bitcoin. If you're older, if you've lived long, if you've been cognizant longer than like, let's say being cognizant sometime in the early 2000s, you're older than Bitcoin, right? I mean, I'm a year of 1999 or 1991, basically, right? Even if you're born in the early 2000s, you're still older than Bitcoin, right? A majority of the people on the planet are older than Bitcoin. At some point, we're going to become. We're millennials. At some point, when I'll be 65, but we'll be the new boomers, just much better looking, and much wealthier, right? But it's a crypto takeover. I mean, we're in the greatest wealth transfer in the history of mankind. These boomers, these banks are all they're slowly getting rid of this, but we're adopting into cryptocurrencies. Most of the wealth is in where's most of the wealth? Most of the wealth in Ethereum, decentralized. As much as we like to like be mad, but it's decentralized. They can't pause it. And Bitcoin. PulseChain. There's a couple of maybe Sonic as well. There's a couple of blockchains that are adopting that. Now there's centralized dog shit L2s, and then there's besides N2, shout out to N2, but there's also other blockchains out here that are trying to be decentralized, but there are centralized dog shit like Solana. Even Cardano is like, actually I think it is decentralized, so that's fine and stuff. Unless their Japanese overlords tell them, or their Chinese overlords tell them what to do.
Where do you guys see Bitcoin going to this year?
It depends on how what do you call it? How long the market lasts. So traditionally speaking, right, you're supposed to look for Bitcoin's top between like this year would be between March to the end of October. The end of October would be that 3 years and 11 mark from the previous top. That being said, right? If we get liquidity injections and different things in the second half of the year, like a $5,000 Doge dividend or whatever, that will help the market continue possibly into the later part of the year, maybe early 2026. So like the longer that Bitcoin can kind of continue the trajectory up, while at the same time not get like so many crazy spikes. Like if it can just be a nice steady Eddie run like we got in 2017, just like jamming time and talk shit. Oh, that's just gonna reset sentiment. Okay, then we continue. You know, that type of move. If we can do something like that, we could last the majority of this year. And usually by the time we get like an early altcoin season, it usually is a run of about 9 months. And I think if that starts in March, it's possible. It's not necessarily guaranteed or anything, but if it did, then that would run us right into the very end of the year. And what price would it be? There's a few different people taking a look at different things. I've been talking about $180,000 Bitcoin, the majority of this bull market, 140 minimum. And my maximum has been about 225, 250. That's what I say is like, if we get to that level, it's pretty insane. And I don't think we're going to get the 300,000 or more, no matter, you know, how many governments want to get in. There's going to be just so many OGs selling on them. Like my best scenario is we get up to, you know, 200 some $1,000 and Germany buys back all the Bitcoin they sold at 55K. That would be the best. But
right.
Yeah, I think realistically 180 to 220,000 is a pretty good range to look for if Bitcoin holds that 90 to 95K level by the end of this month.
You always have to remember the money that we're using right now to pump up the market, and really, it's not like there's been like I mean, we've said this on the WoW for the show, and we said this on the course. We're talking about it in the course as well, that there has been an open manipulation of Ethereum, and they've been they've intentionally been suppressing the Ethereum price in order to start controlling the supply. I mean, like the update that's going to happen to Ethereum in March is going to allow validators to go from 32 Ethereum to 2,048 Ethereum, with a little bit extra weighting towards those big ones. So that means more of the voting power is going to start going to BlackRock and all these. They're buying, and like if you look at it, MetaMask is owned. I'm not going to say by who and what tiny hat group, but like they're owned, and you know all the main infrastructure on Ethereum has been owned for a long time. Like the U.S. government and the banks have been much more pro Ethereum than Bitcoin actually, and they've been buying the infrastructure because it's cheaper. It just is cheaper. It's much more cheaper. And they're buying it. Why? Tell me why Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States of America, launches a coin on Solana, probably because of David Sachs, and then essentially extracts $500 million, not including everybody else what they did, but extracted about $500 million, and then started buying Ethereum with that money, and then essentially what they did is they extracted all the meme coin money out of Solana and pumped it back into Ethereum, and Ethereum's price didn't really even move. And then from there, they started buying wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum.
Yeah.
Why aren't you buying Bitcoin on Bitcoin? Why are you buying Bitcoin on Ethereum? Said the maxis. Well, there's reasons.
Do more with it.
And then, shout out to Justin Sun doing some 4D chess right here. Gives the Trump administration $75 million, and then they're like, okay, and then they buy $25 million of Tron.
Okay. I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah. Sir. Trenches. We're in the trenches, ladies and gentlemen. And then on top of that, interesting sort of things too is now the United States is caring about crypto. Now the Eurozone is like, this crypto stuff's bad. It's really bad right now. So Tether, get out. You have to leave. And where do they go? To El Salvador. Right? And I keep saying this. We've said this for a long time. The United States has controlled the crypto space forever because it's always internationally market-wise, it's always been dollars. So the spread of crypto spreads the dollar, which also spreads out the inflation. So crypto's been helping the United States dollar reign supreme and rug other currencies for a long time. Right. Why would you hold anything other than crypto and dollars? Like, I know this goes down, but your currency goes down more. Be in the peso. Yeah. I mean, look at my timeline.
Buying a stable coin's way easier than buying a bond, so that can get a lot of people, even the people who are debanked, into the US system.
Right. And look at this right here, right? why would they do? Why would they Why would this is a classic? This is a classic Wall Street. Why do you shit? Why are you allowing? They're allowing the cent. Look, if you let's just say I'm like an evil corporate government. Let's just say I'm trying to be real Illuminati right here, right? Where's most people's money?
Soros.
Soros, right? So there's the Bitcoin side, but some of the Bitcoiners literally don't play meme coins, or in some do, but most people they're just holding their Bitcoin, and that's all they do. They're not. They're kind of like North Korea, sort of, or maybe like Japan before they were forced by the United States to open up, trading to the world, right? I'll lean more towards North Korea. So they're more like they're more the hermit kingdom. And then Ethereum's where most people have their wealth because they either have it in Ethereum. Everything's essentially a kind of basically borrowing off the technology of Ethereum or yield pool. Everything's kind of linked to Ethereum. Like crypto's much more linked to Ethereum than Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is sort of our rudder and kind of like how hot the space is overall, right? Because Bitcoin going up means more eyeballs and people like, oh, I'll invest into other stuff. But if since Ethereum's price has been stagnant, it's stagnated all the L1s, all the L2s, except for VC-backed US-based currencies, which is what? Solana. And even with all that, right, Solana still didn't go. I mean, but it's been the darling of the market. It's had the Phantom wallet. It's had every meme coin or every celebrity launching a shitty ass meme coin that's all rugged, which we warned everyone about. And what's happened? It barely got above its all-time high of $260. It basically touched $300 for like 15 minutes, and then it dropped down. So you're telling me I had the world's audience, US-backed investors, every broccoli head Gen Z influencer and millennial influencer talking about shilling, and then also celebrity and we could stay here all day naming all the celebrities that launched coins that failed. We even had the bald guy from Breaking Bad launch a meme coin,
right,
brother? The one that
that's also that answers your question. Right? Because pump.fun. If you look on when did pump.fun come out and then look at Solana price, like it literally is just chopped since then. So like, yeah, there is, like similar with what you said on Trump coin and everything, there's been a lot of extraction on that ecosystem, and that's, the Achilles heel for sure.
Now also look, who are the main people on let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. Let me share something with you guys real quick. Maddie, if you would let me share my screen for 1 second. Since we're getting into conspiracy theory, I mean, why not? Let's get into it, right? This is pump.fun doing analytics right here. They have extracted so far, this is from March 1st. They have extracted and sold. So they've sold $500 million of Solana. They literally all the fees generated. They take the Solana, also owned by a Tiny Hat organization. I'm not going to say anything. That's as far as I'll go. Dark Elves. And
Bankman-Fried's friends.
Bankman-Fried's friends. They've extracted $500 million of Solana. No buying pressure. No, just selling. Extracted. The VCs of Solana are all US-backed Silicon Valley guys who are all in Trump's cabinet. David Sachs is a VC investor of Solana. That means they bought Solana at a penny.
But they sold it all at the top.
Yeah, and they were giggling about it in 2021. Oh my God, Solana's price is crazy. And then that's them selling at $240 to $260. Well. And guess what? Why was it struggling getting past $260? Because they've been selling the entire time. Would you sell something that you got for a penny that's gone up to fucking $300?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not that good at math, but let's see. Let me see. Let me do $300 divided by 0.021. Oh, a 30,000x. Wow.
No, you'd never sell that, Miguel. Hold forever.
I'm pretty bad. I'm a hex holder, so I guess I'm just right?
Yeah, well, that's just their first run. They made that amount of X's, right? Then you look at it after they sold, right? Let's do that 30,000x, right? On $1, right? So you put $1 in at a penny, you get $30,000. Great. Then you buy the lows again, let's say at $10, right? And then that goes up another 30x. So then you take your $30,000 and you do a nice little 30x on it. And yeah, just your $1 investment's not doing too shabby, right? So
you're sitting at a 900x. That means your $1 has made you 900 grand.
At 900,000x, yeah.
$900,000. Yeah, but not 900,000. It's dudes. Like, and then that's also why it pumped up so much. And then on top of that too, like the Solana's been doing a lot of dirty shit. Like they're number one competitor, which you have to understand, like obviously because PulseChain was better than launching the bear, it viewed the competitor as being anything Ethereum backed. So because there was more eyeballs on Phantom, because it didn't exist. Like you have to understand, Solana was competing against Phantom last cycle. PulseChain didn't exist yet, so it viewed Phantom as its real rival, and it's called FTM or Phantom. So they decide to launch their app and put all this money in marketing and they bought a bunch of influencers to pump the Phantom wallet. Why would they call it the Phantom wallet? Basically, to basically when people think of Phantom, they think of Solana. Then Phantom transitions over to Sonic, and then within the same few days, they launch an L2 called Sonic SVM. Sorry. So they did that in order so they couldn't promote Sonic Virtual Machine, and they also with the same day they listed on Binance. Binance listed both Sonic and Sonic SVM. Why would they do that? Right?
Because they got bribed?
They got bribed in the Binance, baby. And also, right? And like cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all, right? Like our boy CZ, right? Went to jail for 4 months, paid $4 billion, and made and during when he was in jail, he made $25 million every day and made all his $4 billion back. Right? So this is some of this, and then the reason people are so mad. Look, because obviously, look, we're in PulseChain and Hex, right? We're used to down, right? We're used to all this stuff, right? I mean, and we had been around when also Hex wasn't as cool, right? It was like Maddie was there, so was Charlie. We were all here. Like it was rough. You think it's rough now? Oh boy, oof! It was really rough back then. Like this is not that bad. This is nice. It's been nice. I mean, I know we just lost a yield barely, but like it was nice. It was like much greener pastures over here. And I mean, literally, like the Jews out of Egypt. I mean, we for 40 fucking years, we were like trying to find a space of our own, and then eventually we created our own land, right? That's what happened. I mean, green. Look, Maddie's already there already. Look at this green pasture. Look at that. It looks real nice. Cowboy hat, sitting nice. Yeah, Psycho Crypto's right. Yeah, like they did that on purpose, and also because they created a technology that was used to scale. Like Phantom FTM created a technology that instantly can upgrade the TPS of any Ethereum 2.0 EVM. So that can be, so they created something that can upgrade PulseChain and Ethereum, current Ethereum, and it's about a 9 to 11x throughput increase of not just TPS, but also a 9 to 11x, depending on how they configure the chain and safety parameters and stuff like that. They can increase 9 to 11 times the smart contracts per block, which that will help Hex. And I believe some of the upgrades happening to Ethereum are actually coming from basically Sonic, but rebranded and renamed. And I think there's deals going on because last cycle, the Phantom this is some of the lore stuff we teach. This is part of what we do in the crypto mindset course too, is we kind of teach a little crypto history and kind of like what's kind of like I mean, we show you what's under the chassis and kind of the background deals that are going on and sort of like the dirty dealings and sort of like the backstabbing that's happening. You guys remember when Solana shut down? Well, that's because Solana decided to, allegedly, Solana devs entered Phantom and decided to steal some money from some pools, allegedly. And then Phantom DDoS attacked them and launched about, I don't know, a billion NFTs on Solana and shut down their network twice. And then Solana stopped attacking Phantom, and then Phantom stopped attacking Solana.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Like crypto risk.
Gang warfare, Crips and Bloods, I guess.
Right.
Runs deep.
Like the Crips and the Bloods feud over here on PulseChain with Cardano. The one thing I will say about the real Cardano and PulseChain is that the funniest thing that would be possible is if people started basically building projects around it just as like meme projects, right? and those did better than the actual, like those as well did better than the actual Cardano. Because like seriously, can you guys even name 1 or 2 or 3 projects that is actually working on Cardano that you've heard of?
Cock.
I know I got there's a Charlie 3 or something, right? There's that. There's I think there was
It's
one
a pig meme.
like a maker one or something like that. I don't know, but I've only seen like
Cock.
2.
Cock was one of the top meme coins on there. When last time I checked on Cardano, it was Cock and Snake.
Well, yeah, but those are memes. I'm talking about utility. Like,
oh, there's none. There's none then. Charlie 3,
Right.
that's about it, really. I don't even know that's operational still. Like, but last time we looked, yeah.
Yeah, and to do anything on Cardano is fucking impossible. So and PulseChain, like within, I would say maybe about a year and a half after launching, it already had more actual activity than Cardano. So I don't know, just like looking at chain wars and stuff like that. I want to see the PulseChain one with Cardano really shine, because if people could see like on the what do you call it, on the coin market cap pages when PulseX and everything's going to new all-time highs, if they can see that, I think PDGC recently, right, got approved on CoinGecko and a few other places. So those types of projects going up and showing people, hey, you know, I think Crypto Banter also shows on the Bitcoin, or sorry, the Crypto Bubbles, right? It'll show Pulse and PulseX and stuff. So if you see all that going, and then at the same time, right, what do you call it? People see Cardano moving, and if everybody's like, okay, Cardano's moving, it has nothing going for it. Meanwhile, PulseChain is moving better, and it's a better ecosystem project. Everything like, I don't know, that type of, even though it's negative attention, I think that would still promote PulseChain pretty well. Just comparing it to Cardano, because Cardano ain't doing shit.
I mean, he did say Cardano on PulseChain, if it does better, he'll quit crypto. I mean, that's quite an incentive. I don't know. So here in PulseChain, we know quite a lot about incentive tokens, but wow, what an incentive!
We got to then let Vitalik know that, because I think that's his goal.
Right. Yeah. We'll get the ETH, get the ETH and meme coin on. On pumped out tires above the.
Could you pull up like Deck Screener for just like a 1 second?
Yeah. What are you looking at?
Oh, I just like, it's always interesting. I look at Deck Screener. We look at Gecko Dex tools. We look at all the terminals and stuff. We look at it's always nice to see the rankings a little bit. And anytime there's a little bit of, if you scroll down to the watch list, like, or to the on the left hand side, just scroll down a little, right there, right? So if you see right there, right, Solana, right, all the VCs are pumping it out. You got celebrities, you got everything like that. So like that makes sense, right? With Binance, biggest exchange on the planet, they pretty much run all of the Asia markets in there, so that makes sense. It's there. Base protocol, Coinbase is funneling all their users into that. It's a lot of users feel safe coming into that L2 because it's backed by Coinbase. That makes sense. Ethereum, the birthplace of all of DeFi, pretty much where a lot of people hold a lot of their wealth. There's Sonic and there's PulseChain. Why are they there? Because they actually have users, and in the moment there's something to be excited about, these users come back and volumes created, and then you see, look, it's ahead of everything else. And look, we're ahead, below PulseChain. There's Ton Token, and that's Telegram's coin with 500 million users that they get to funnel in there, and we're above them. And Avalanche, and Sui, and Polygon's trash. But like as you keep going down, right? I mean, let's see where Cardano is. Hyperliquid, XPL, HyperVM, Bearchain. Bearchain just launched. Arbitrum, Aptos, Tron. Where is Cardano? Chronos. Yeah. Phantom. Hey, look, the dead chain of Phantom. It's still higher than Cardano. Where's Cardano at? ICP. Yeah, you know me. Algorand. Cardano. Hey!
Winner.
Woo! Right?
Man, they're getting smoked by Unichain.
It's just barely above a female-led cryptocurrency called Starknet. And ZK Sync is a big fail. And Ape Chain, which is a dead NFT project, damn near.
Well, so I put together a timeline today of what's been happening with the OA movements, and I've detected a pattern here, and it's a 1 to 4 day rhythm that continued today, and so I think this means that something much bigger is coming, more than just like doing the last two cuts on
Right.
ink of like 0.1x compared to 10x or 2x. So on February 1st, Pump.Tires launched, including 19 meme tokens, which we've talked about, Cardano and others. And then February 5th, the OA stakes Hex 7 days. February 7th, ink inflation cut 10x. February 9th, 2 days later, the OA stakes Hex for 15 years. A day later, ink inflation cut in half. 2 days later, the OA stakes for a month for Hex. And then 3 days later, ink inflation is cut 0.1 X. Then again on February 19th, that's today, ink inflation cut again. So still on my list of things that I think could happen this year, SEC case dismissed, Kraken listing, Pulse X DEX for ETH, which would get those whales comfortable using our software, our front end, and then allow them to like, get onto our chain eventually.
Maddie, what if there was an Ethereum upgrade that makes it a little cheaper to do fees on Ethereum?
Hey.
Just maybe, but let's keep
Yeah, we could see that. SAC funds buying core tokens again. That could happen many times. Like the ink inflation getting cut is happening many times. You could have new RH pre-recorded videos. If he doesn't want to go live, that's fine. We've already seen the Christmas stuff. You could get single-sided PLSX staking. You could get Space Diamond NFTs. You could get the OA running validators to cut, to battle this evil inflation or whatever the whole thesis is here. You could get a new sacrifice. You could get new farm pairs. You could spend PDI on Hex. And you could block some OA PLSS or PLS and PLSX in time pays me if you really wanted to get fancy.
Maddie,
you missed one though.
What?
Getting Rackham the GTFO.
Oh right, yeah. That's step 0.
But that's a lot of stuff, and I bet you there's gonna be little stuff we don't even realize that should be in that list as well.
Right.
And like we've said this for a while, but the bull run doesn't we've been in a bull run since Bitcoin's been at all-time highs, but Ethereum's hit $4,000 so far. That's about it. Touch $4,000 for a second and come we haven't even had Ethereum above $4,800. So
right. And that's why I don't care if Bitcoin has already peaked or not, is because in 2021 Bitcoin peaked, or at least the first peak that was equally matched later on. But Richard called the top on the day, Bitcoin peaked, and then Hex had its final awesome run after that. And so I would predict the same thing this cycle, that the best is yet to come in our ecosystem, regardless of whether the best has already came, which you guys think. And I like your analysis that we've still got much more good times ahead in the bigger ecosystems too.
They're going to cut rates. Energy is going to come down. I think inflation, we're not going to go backwards. Besides eggs, milk, and stuff like there's certain things that the government kind of has more control of and stuff. Why is egg prices so high? Because they killed 500 million chickens because of the bird flu. Also, magically during the Android 19 epidemic, a bunch of food processing plants and chicken farms just magically lit on fire. I have no idea how that happened during Android 19, but it definitely happened. Suspicious. But and we're almost out of, it's really sad to say, but we're almost out of maple syrup reserves. So we're gonna have to do Manifest Destiny on Canada at some point, 50 per state. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough time, but we're I guess we have to get Greenland too, because we don't know about candles anymore, and maybe Puerto Rico. It is what it is.
Well, we argued with Pastor Abdul on the show last night about Canada, so that was productive. And,
if you've seen the last hockey game, right? 3-1. That's all you got to know. That's
what the chat was saying.
Yeah, 3-1. Boo, America, and then America laid a can of whoop ass. And the Canadians do that for a living.
Yeah, I was gonna say, real question is when Arctic Circle monopoly.
Right. Yeah. Well, with all these riches being made, I think you guys are offering a unique advantage, and anybody who can pay for the education is probably going to get way more out of it than they're putting in by buying your course that's available now. I'm going to put the link in the chat here for my referral link for people. I know last time I did this, I did a stream with you guys. We got at least 3 people signed up. There's probably 30 or 50 or more people who watch my show who are already in your guys' group. You have been some of the number one onboarders and people who pay for your course. They keep coming back and paying for the course, which I think is the best endorsement because they're making money. And that's why they're doing it, is because it's a net positive for them. And so you guys have just built this massive audience of people that's benefiting. So yeah, I can't imagine why somebody would be a large holder in the ecosystem and not be signing up for your course.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with. I mean, you pay for college to learn, right? You pay for a car. It's the sort of thing like don't be afraid to pay on education because speed kills, and the faster you learn something, the faster you can make money on it, and the faster we have a limited time on this earth. I know I think Richard had made some little tweet about going to conferences or paying for courses and stuff like this, but even Richard, when he was on the come up, he was going to all the Tony Robbins things. Those are extremely expensive, and people go to conferences to meet people. Look, the conference isn't really. It's usually not about what the speaker is saying. It's about the people who go around, right? Like we threw a crypto mindset event. People got to meet a lot of interesting people. People made deals. We got to tell a lot of people about certain opportunities, and the market went in a really good direction, and they made money. Also in time, it's a sort of thing too, when some of these events, sometimes it's just really good for morale. It really is, because sometimes we're in a tough spot where we just grind out for another 6 months, and not this point, but back then, grind out for another 6 months. We have to wait for something to happen. And it kind of most people, the people around you are not into crypto. That's just, it's the average person's not that much into crypto. We're still onboarding the world right now. Right. But I remember the reason why I wanted to create a YouTube channel is because I wanted to talk crypto and then maybe make a community that talked crypto with me, because there was no one around me that I always loved finance, and no one liked finance around me, right? And now we have the Citadel, which we have 650 members in there that are just 24/7 talking crypto, the crypto mindset courses. We've onboarded 17,000 people. We've introduced so many people to PulseChain and Hex, E-Hex, P-Hex, and every other Hex you can possibly imagine, and also in the Red Pill as well. Red Pill people, we've tried to save so many people from Pulse Latina. I'm very happy to say that our users were not affected by Pulse Latina, but I can't say that for the rest of the PulseChain ecosystem. But you can't trust these harlots in these streets, you guys. And
she wasn't even a big booty Latina. She probably got deported.
Yeah, she was out of Brazil or something. So she actually wasn't hidden that much for Brazilian standards. She was she's pretty much a 4 in Brazilian standards.
Oh yeah.
But let's be honest here. But that's a big thing too, you guys. I mean, you guys are making so much money. Why shit will you eat? Why shit will you work? There's
plenty of people doing that though. That's the one thing I would say right now about the PulseChain ecosystem that needs to kind of get a little bit better, is that you still have people flooding their own bags, right? You still have scarcity mindset in the community, and you still have a little bit of what's that called? Just jadedness overall. And it's yeah, if you're so jaded, just get out of the ecosystem. Why even bother, being a content creator when you're going to just talk shit about your own chain? It's why don't you just become part of the solution? I think Maddie's done a very good job with that through this channel and everything. And, but there's people that are emotional. They can't really act or think logically because they're I'm all in, and, but it's why FUD your all in bag? It's the same with like Rackham, I'm like, bro, like
you're just hurting your bag. You could have made more money just being positive or just not saying anything.
Yeah.
And you make more money. Maximum value extraction, right? Well, it's kind of like creating. It's the same thing when I talked about like the whole Island Boy thing was like, why are you shitting on hex staking? Now you've essentially 10x the amount of people who are not going to stake, and now you've created 10x the amount of competition to sell. Congratulations, stupid.
Right.
You know, I really think
Darwin Awards for crypto.
They don't think this through. They don't think it through. You know.
And Shell Gates was right. He's like, it's a chain of Jeets right now, right? So I think the PulseChain community just have a little faith. Work on like Maddie said earlier, go over and DM the Department of Government and Efficiency for the SEC section about these people who've been wrongfully working with the SEC to bring down people in the community. And just it's like these small steps. I think Kobe Bryant, right? He would say, you don't try to like eat the whole elephant at one time, essentially, right? It's like you get a little bit better every day. In Japan, they call it the Kaizen method, which is just continuous improvement. You don't have to conquer the world and do everything in every day. It's just like do something positive towards the community, for the community, sentiment wise, whatever it is that you can control as a community member, right? I think Somi does a good job at this. B Roots does a good job at it. Yep. And like Teddy Bear, is one of the better meme coin projects out there. And so like, yeah, you just continue to get people to do that. And like all those little drops in the bucket, they do add up. But yeah, if you're scarcity mindset, you're like, Richard Hart's not here. I have to be, the king of the crypto hill and PulseChain, or, I don't know. There's just these weird people who I think in the community, they feel like if there's any competition, it's not good. And I'm like, no, you want as much competition as possible. You want as much positivity as possible. You want everybody rowing at least towards the same direction, right? And then, good things can happen. But yeah, if you're going to be like, no, I'm just going to nuke the engine on this boat, which is what Rackham's trying to do, right? It's like, it just doesn't make any sense. But hey, and then, like you said, Miguel, right? If you don't cheat, you can just, stick on for the ride a little bit more and actually get that, crazy amount of X's once, everything kind of gets moving. But I know there's people that are like, well, crypto's dead, PulseChain's not moving at all. This stuff's never going to work. But usually when we get that sentiment, that's right before the hockey stick move.
Right. No, absolutely. And stuff like that. And like, just come back to the builder side, like you were saying, I mean, there's people like Hexy Bastard that's made the meme coin decks for yield farming for meme coins and all kind of alternative coins that people were like, oh my God, this joke decks about 9-inch and a BBC and like, this is never going to work. And what happened this cycle? This whole cycle has been meme coins and everyone kind of shut up. And then before that, even before Richard launched it, he launched his own version of Pump.Tires way before that. And, some good meme coins came out of that, but it was a proof of concept and it worked. And, some people were being really, no, you're going to be mad because like Richard tweeted some Pump.Tires. Even I thought it's just being caught like you in crypto over time, you being sort of schizophrenic / very hesitant on things will save your butt a lot of times. If you see your favorite influencer tweeting something, so well, that's super out of character. Second guess that absolutely. What if like his Twitter got hacked and then that ended up being a malicious website? People linked their wallets and everyone got drained. Like it was a super smart thing to do. And people, no, you're just mad because he created a competitor. No, he was fucking warning people like, yo, let's be careful here because this could like Richard doesn't tweet like this ever. This is super strange. It was very rational thinking and stuff. And then I saw him getting unfair treatment and he was like, oh, I'm happy it's happening because it's going to pump the ecosystem. I'm super happy now. And then the nuke got yield and then a bunch of yield went over to 2Flux and a bunch of that money went over to 9-inch to go. I mean, there was like on the initial like tweet about that where like the ink inflation got reduced by 90%, like over $500,000 went onto that platform and other platforms.
Yeah.
And that's having a robust ecosystem and stuff. It's just people just drinking haterade. Yeah, 9mm. I think is like on a. Hopefully, I think it's coming back on a not a revenge tour, but sort of like some bad stuff happened to the exchange, but another community's kind of brought it back, and hopefully, it can now be put in kind of an immutable state where it can continue to grow. Even that's beautiful. Like 9mm guys as well. we have quite a lot of robust projects and stuff. It's working hard. People were like, we're chastising like Mintra as an example, but the NFT market's been it's been down in the dirt, meta completely. And so you can't blame that on them, because it's like, besides Pudgy Penguins, like, and the Trump NFTs, like nothing else has really performed at all. So like, that's just the meta, right? It could have been very much that this whole meta was like, imagine instead of NFTs, instead of meme coins, it was NFTs, and Mintra would have been the most popping thing on the ecosystem, and then 9inch would have not been doing anything because NFTs weren't a thing. Totally could have happened. This is roll the dice, but you have to take shots, and you have to you have to look at some founders are working hard. Now there's some other SACs that, the liquid loans, like in a bunch of, like, they're just, there's a lot of things that, like, money is not being used. So I am kind of not, like, I'm kind of holding my tongue a little bit, because obviously a lot of the other SACs also did almost the same thing as well, because it's very possible that until the suit is done, they can't really do anything, which is understandable. If that's the case, then that's why I'm giving them all a little bit of rope here, because that could be a legit thing where, like, lawyers went, hey, okay, and like, have enough, launch a project, and then don't spend the rest of the funds. Okay, that could be something,
right?
Which, so that's kind of what I'm an optimist. I'm like, give me a reason not to hate you, please. I'm really trying. Give me a reason not to hate you, but yeah.
Well, with the course, you guys told people to buy Solana at $8, so people turned $26 into $1,000 here in the past couple of years, based on your guys' good calls. Do you guys make a lot of good calls in your paid courses?
Yeah, we do so for free on YouTube as well. So we've been talking about Sonic for quite a while. We mentioned last week that when Sonic was about 55 cents, that if it were to gain above 60 cents, 61 cents, then that's what's going to pump it up towards about 83 cents. It's about halfway towards that goal right now. And yeah, we do this with what do you call it? All top market cap coins, including PulseChain, PulseX, PHEX, and others. So what we do, I think it's usually about the third or fourth webinar, we go through our top 25 to 50 coins in all of crypto, right? And the way that me and Miguel do this is we look at all coins that are top 500 by market cap first, and then we reduce those. That generally ends up somewhere between 20 to 40 coins that we reduce in there. And then we add about 10, 15, 20 coins, depending on the timing of the market, that might not be, high market cap coins, but that we know from different ecosystems have really good opportunities. And then we make a difference between, okay, you're swing trading a position versus long-term investing versus, well, we might only have 9 months of the bull market left to go, right? So we give you guys different strategies for how to play those different types of, I guess, games in the crypto space, you could call them, but different strategies for, how to be in the market. So the traders have actually done pretty well this cycle in terms of, the market hasn't gone up and to the right only. So there have been enough pauses that once a quarter during the course, we've had a good profit taking opportunity, whether you want to take it or not. Could be just on trades, could be on some investments. It depends on what timing of the market is. But if you look back to where we've started every crypto mindset course for the last few years, we've had at least every quarter, by the time we get into our webinars, we've had at least a month of upside in the market. And then usually we have multiple months of upside in the market from when we do the course, because we tend to line it up with the end of some major 60-day cycles. So we're coming up to one now at the end of the month, beginning of March, and that's exactly when we're doing the course. So we think it's the best time to get in. We could be selling it, when prices are at their all-time highs, or their highs for each quarter, to get more people excited, more people in. But then our guys wouldn't be making profit. So we want to make sure that, hey, let's get everybody in who's a good value investor, has the right mindset, or is willing to obtain the right crypto mindset. And then we do that. I don't know, DCC, if you want to talk about some of the guests that we have coming in. I know we have, we have a section dedicated to PulseChain every single time.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know if you want to go into any details on that.
Yeah, we usually go over kind of the history of Hex, and then into Pulse, and then kind of what are like how to safely onboard into PulseChain, how to what yield farms are interesting, what's not interesting, what are some of what's like the land kind of the landscape, the ecosystem. Then once we get past that webinar, it's usually about 4 hours long. It's a pretty long webinar, all done live, by the way, as well. So as I'm doing that, then from there, we have a lot of prominent PulseChain guests as well, explaining their ecosystem or kind of like their thoughts on it. And it's usually like 1 to 2 guests in the ecosystem, usually based off of what we think kind of is like going to be kind of the meta, or like the meta is basically like what's going to be the flavor of this next kind of quarter, basically. And I bring guests from PulseChain, and then we do the same thing for other ecosystems we think that are potentially very good that we can make some money in. So yeah. It's
And I mean,
cool.
you actually moved the Pepe market in the past, right? Like you
we have
caused the tops and the bottoms.
Well, all right, let's calm down now a little bit.
Well, how else do you call them perfectly?
Maddie, I know not what you speak of, Maddie.
It's just luck, huh?
Just luck, yeah. Oh yeah, very early investor into Pepe on Ethereum. What is Pepe? I think Pepe is I think I got into it sub. I mean, it must have been it may have been like 40 million market cap or less, or something like that on Pepe. I got into the coin on its 3rd day of release. Told our guys about it, and I've done very well with it. And
Wow.
It's the most valuable new cryptocurrency this cycle, basically. I think it's like 5 billion market cap, right? Let me see, where's Pepe at? Pepe is 4 billion market cap. It's been as high as about 11.2 billion market cap. Our guys have done very well. Our guys have done very well on that, and yeah,
we got Navy cryptographers on speed dial. That's all we got to say.
Yeah. And we've taken that capital and we use Pepe to buy PulseChain and buy Sonic and buy Ethereum, and then when it dips down, we rebuy it back again. It's something that consistently trade and done very well with it. It's it's really nice. I think I'm pretty confident at the very least it's going to go to 42 billion market cap. But because in this cycle we're going to have probably 1 to 3 multi-100 billion market cap meme coins before the cycle's over. Doge is a super simple one because it's at 40 to 30 billion, so it's not much of a move for it to go. So it's very safe to. I think it's safe to say that Doge is going to $1. Whoa, not any big news here, right? It's been to 80 cents in the past, but literally a Doge is worth more than this. Like 5,000 Doge will be worth more than this pretty soon. In a year. Isn't that crazy to think? Like 5,000. This is fraction. I remember owning like 3 million Doge plus when it was like nothing. Like it was no money at all. And in what, 9 years or 8 years of waiting, it's that 3 million Doge is worth about like 1 point something million. That's the power of holding good assets that go up over time. Ethereum, Bitcoin. I think this next cycle. So we really only call we only call 2 assets blue chips in the space. It's Bitcoin and Ethereum. We call Doge sort of a meme coin. It's the meme coin Bitcoin, or it's the meme coin blue chip in the meme coin space. But this next cycle, whatever survives, it's gonna be the first time in a long time that a couple of coins will graduate into actually becoming the added basket of blue chips. It could be Solana, it could be PulseChain. It's sort of, you need a cycle to survive, prove your worth, and then it can upgrade into itself. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's XRP or something. I mean, hope not, but it kind of is what it is. But then from there, they become a little less volatile, but it's more inconsistent gains, which a lot of people do want. They just want steady Eddie up and to the right, not too crazy.
You should just buy Tron then. That's a pretty steady chart.
Yeah, Tron's. Well, hey, Trump's buying it, so hey.
Hey, it's not. It's been matching. It's been I think outpacing Ethereum pretty well. So hey,
I think he was a previous owner of the company that owns Tether as well. Or he's at least invested into it. So there's connections all over the space. I really do believe these. I mean, one day there's going to be a central bank digital currency of the United States. It already exists. It's USDC. It's Circle. Circle is banked by JP Morgan. JP Morgan's one of the 7 member banks of the Federal Reserve. Like, bros, come on. Like, if the trial runs USDC, they'll create a central bank digital currency. Thank God we've had Trump. I think we were on We Are the People or We Are Change. We were on that show, and it's a brand new channel we've been on. They're like 800,000 subscribers on YouTube. And we got to introduce like PulseChain and talked about crypto events. And one of the big things they're asking us about were central bank digital currencies. And under Trump, we've at least have a 4-year window of no central bank digital currency in the United States. But I would imagine if we ended up getting a Democrat, we're probably going to have a central bank digital currency sometime at the end of this decade. Hopefully it's another Republican run and we don't get a central bank digital currency, but I'm afraid to say that more than likely by 2032 we will have a central bank digital currency in the United States.
And in the course, we may or may not allegedly have a speaker who is the CEO of a company that may or may not allegedly be helping 2 countries start their central bank digital currencies in the next handful of months. So some interesting conversations to be had.
Wow. Well, this is great. And this is really, again, a no-brainer for anybody who has any significant amount of money in crypto or wants to retire on crypto and live their best life. The fee that you guys are charging for your education seems like a really good deal to me. When I think I just canceled a ChatGPT Pro subscription that was $200 a month. And, you guys are only doing this once a quarter. So ChatGPT was so woke. It's not going to tell me what cryptos to buy. It's not going to have any good information for me, but you guys will. And so I'm going to drop the link one more time here for people to use this referral link to sign up for your guys' course, which I would highly recommend.
Yeah, and just to let people know kind of what the process is here. So if you click the link there in the chat, also I believe Maddie put it in the description of the video. If you click the link, you'll be moved over to the website where you can purchase the course. And once you make the purchase, then within 24 hours, you will get an email from support@cultivatecrypto.com or charlie@cultivatecrypto.com. When you receive that email, you'll have a link to our Telegram links channel as well as the chat. The links channel is where all the webinars pre-recorded plus live will be posted, plus any other announcements. And then the chat is where we all congregate and have conversations on the daily. And then once you're in there, you can chop it up, ask a lot of questions to some of our alumni, and add some information in there, see what people think about your research, whatever it is that you're looking to get better at in crypto. Start having those conversations in the chat over the next 1 week. Excuse me. You won't be able to get in after Monday. So Monday will be the last time you can get in. And then webinars will begin on Friday, the 28th at 10 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And then, we go for 15 live webinars. We have 5 pre-recorded for you guys as well. And then we'll have flash webinars throughout the quarter. And we start the webinars with our thesis on the market, the coins that we think are the top 25 to 50 in the market as well. Some portfolio strategies, some risk management strategies. That's where we usually start. And then we move into a little bit of basics to make sure everybody's on the same page. And then we go into intermediate and then advanced topics plus guests. So we ramp it up pretty good. It's a crypto boot camp. If you are brand new to crypto, right, it's a great way to help your family and friends really get into the space and like truly understand it. So you can actually have a conversation with them. If you are already deep into crypto, I'm pretty sure there's, some holes in your game that you haven't studied quite as much, whether that's technical analysis, fundamental analysis, or on-chain data, or somewhere in between there. There's always something that everybody can prove. So come in, do some Kaizen and continuous improvement with us. And we'll be happy to have you. That being said, it's also a fucking good time. Like, we all have a lot of fun. We play some music when you guys are filing into the chat, filing into the stream, into the Zoom webinars and everything. And then, everybody, it's kind of like, it's a boot camp where everybody becomes kind of like like Miguel said, if you didn't have a community of crypto people as much before that, like we're very well versed and literate in all of crypto, then you'll have one here. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to be had on it for sure.
And does everybody watch the courses live, or do some people watch like on their own time?
So obviously, like some people are still working. Some people, we have tons of guys that just they call not that they don't put their 2 weeks in, but some have. But quite a lot of people, usually take let me take 2 weeks off my job. I'm just going to end up just paying attention, locking in. But plenty of people are doing it during work, and understandably, some people miss a morning one or a night one. This is why we usually go 2 days on, 2 days off. So we give people a chance to kind of go like, oh, I missed the webinar in the afternoon on the second day. Let me now that it's out, let me watch it, catch up, ask questions in the chat, and then I'm ready and rocking and rolling and stuff. But we when you buy the course initially, we roll out about 5 pre-recorded webinars where it's kind of like the real basics, wallets. This is what the websites are, some real basics and stuff of how to get started. And then from there, they're not completely lost when we get into some of the juicy stuff in the first couple of webinars, because we give a lot of juice in the beginning there, and then from there we start getting into the technical stuff of like how to like make sure your wallets are safe, and then what's trusted links, where to find links, things like that, kind of the real basics. And then by the time you blink, you're understanding all the lingo, like what's an AMM, what's an FVM, what's an L1, what's an L2, what's a stable coin, what's a cuck, horrible, all the best and good things of crypto, right? What's a crypto thought? We'll point them out.
Charles Hoskinson has relations to both those. So.
Well, sorry. but here's the thing too, and we've had tons of guys that are, like look, when you have $1 million portfolio and you have hundreds of $1,000s in portfolio, one little play, it's just the course becomes a rounding error. It's insurance. Right. For a lot of our guys who have taken the courses over the last 4 years, keep taking the course because it's insurance. And also, look, it's the year of 2025, right? It's the year of the snake. It's time to lock in. You gonna let that cobra bite you, or are you gonna survive and thrive? I mean, it's really it's just do you want your pain to be champagne, or do you want your pain to be Rex? Do you want to round trip another cycle? Be my guest. If this is your first time in the cycle, you just learned PulseChain and Hex, let's raise some of these other stats up a little bit so you're a little more well-rounded. So when stuff because look, when Ethereum breaks its all-time high, things are going to get really fast, really quickly, and you're going to be scared. And it's very likely you're going to round trip or fumble the bag. And this is if there's a year to pay attention right now, pay attention. Even if you don't get into the course, pay attention, because it's very likely that you might one misstep and then you've kind of wasted 4 years, or at least 2 years, basically. So get in the course. We've allowed plenty of discounts for people in there and stuff like that, like payment options and everything, but lock the fuck in. Like, we did not suffer through all this bear market, all this prejudice, all this hate, all the SEC and the 3-letter agencies and all this crap. 40 years through the desert to find Israel or whatever, or through the right. deserts of Egypt, to just round trip and wrecked again. No, I think
back to sack price, baby.
Right, and beyond.
Shoot me now. But that's what it is. And then we have tons of intermediate guys that just take it because they sharpen a skill and they learn something else, and they learn, and at least some guys are just like, I just want to get educated because I don't know we have tons of guys in the PulseChain ecosystem that take us. I have no idea what's going on in the rest of crypto. I don't understand. We'll catch you up and you're like, I get it. I'm not going to play around with it, but I just want to understand, because I'm kind of lost right now. I don't understand. I'm just in the RH coins and like, what the hell is going on with this shit? Our guys were able to take advantage of pumped out tires like that. Like a lot of our guys caught most and caught all the coins, and did very well with the coins. Did very well, took profits, and hold more PulseX and PulseChain and Hex now.
Yeah, and we have a relevant question in the chat from Anita. She says, "Is the course gender friendly or the same verbiage used in the DCA channel?" Asking for a friend. Yeah, I mean, maybe some people, they have opinions on what do you call it? Talk or whatever, but no.
Understood.
It's absolutely gender friendly. had a consultation this morning with a lady in California or whatever, and she's been watching both dollar cost crypto, cultivate crypto for I think since October basically, and she's been doing very well in the space. Actually, very very turned on and like really focused on the market. So I mean, you know, we like to have a good time. We like to joke around, and you know, we're more than willing to let people come in and joke around with us and have a good time. So as long as you're, you know, I would say you have some lightheartedness, I guess, and don't take things too seriously because we make fun of everybody literally. You know, like if you come in and just have a good time, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that we try to build up a lot of women in crypto as well. So everybody's welcome.
And we definitely have of all ages. I mean, we've had some women in crypto, literally grandmas who are in their 70s who have bags packed and know how to move money around in crypto. Can you imagine that? Your grandma, can you imagine going to your grandma's house and your grandma's like, "Oh, you're pleb, you sold." Lol.
It's happened.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm really excited for people to get into your guys' course. And I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight and talking about the current events and the opportunities that lie ahead, because I really believe that crypto is where it's going to happen this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for having us, Maddie.
Appreciate you.
Hell yeah. So, and then you guys are going to be on, are you going to be on Fresh and Fit on Friday?
Yes.
Yep. And
That's
on Money
exciting.
Monday as well. So we'll be shouting out PulseChain in the proper way. Like there be, you know, things that we talk about that we'll put it in a good light, I think.
Definitely. Cardano on PulseChain for the win.
All right. All right. Well, people know where to find you guys at this link I've dropped for the course. And awesome. Yeah, I'll run my 10-second outro here. And thanks again, everybody. Thanks for you guys for coming and speaking. Hit the like and subscribe button, share this out. Until next time, stay wisely, my friends, and peace out.